Hi friends, welcome back to Story of Casmock. This week, we'll be learning on how to sketch an 8-headed croquis to use as a fashion template for your technical sketches and turn that into illustration for your fashion portfolio. Fashion designers like to use a croquis template, whether that be an 8-headed croquis or a 9-headed croquis template. This is to ensure that their sketches stay consistent through size and proportion. If you're wondering how they're doing this every single time, well, stick around and watch this video. A big thanks to my friends and the fashion faculty member, Haley and Caroline, for inviting me over to teach this class at the Bridgerland Technical College. And thank you, Colton, for sharing and editing this video. My name is Cass. I've been a fashion designer for nearly 20 years. This channel is a creative platform for me to share the insight of the fashion industry through tutorials and stories. If you've been watching this channel and you find the content useful, please support by subscribing, liking, and commenting below. This simple action will help this small channel grow, so you will continue to see fashion-related content and tutorials in how to bring a product to life from concept to creation. Thank you for being here.
So let's just pretend the camera's not there, even though there's one right there, and then there's a huge one, and then one right here. So let's just pretend all of that is not happening. So why don't each one of you just grab a piece of paper, and I'm gonna go over kind of what I'm gonna teach you guys today. So we're just gonna learn how to basically sketch technical flats with a croquis. So by the end of this class, you're gonna be able to kind of sketch one of these on your own, which is a croquis. And then we're gonna also kind of sketch some technical garments on top of the croquis. So by end of this class today, you'll be a pro, and you're able to take the skill and create a portfolio or what you want to do for your next chapter. So my name is Cassie, and I've been a designer for about 20 years. So I'm just like you, starting out learning about fashion and about the industry. So, and I honestly have to say that this industry is always changing and moving. So it's good to kind of keep yourself up to date and go online and kind of do research and what's happening right now. So you guys all have a piece of paper. So does anybody know what's the difference between an illustration versus a technical flat at this point? No? Okay. So the difference is that, so this is kind of like a technical flat. A technical flat is what you would give to the pattern maker, your technical designer, and your production team to kind of make the garment. And it's also kind of like a blueprint to construction for your design. Just like an architect would basically make a blueprint for the house, you're essentially making a blueprint for kind of your design, right? So an illustration is kind of like this with, kind of like a body behind the clothes. And this would kind of maybe show off the styling of it, the mood of it, and also just kind of your personality, what you bring. And this, you would see a lot of it in a portfolio. And I would just want to show you. So illustration, right? And then you have your technical flats. So when you do, it's important to kind of be able to do both. You're illustrating all the garments on the person, and then you're showing all the details of a garment and kind of your technical sketches, right? So today we're going to emphasize in the technical sketch, but I'll also show you how to easily convert that into an illustration image as well. So, okay, any questions so far? No? You guys look so excited. It's really good to be here and actually do this with you guys, and you'll see how simple it is, and anyone can draw a figure in just after this class. So, okay, let's get started. So what I'm gonna have you do is actually, we're gonna have a white piece of paper, and we're gonna kind of draw basically 10 lines, and each line in between will be 1 inch apart. So I'm gonna pass around some rulers basically. Maybe you guys just take a ruler and then some pen. And there are some erasers here for you as well. Okay, so it's really hard to draw straight lines. So I normally like to just kind of like put my ruler on the edge and mark it. So we'll start with, oh, this is a perfect time for the pen to go out. Okay, so we'll just start marking out 1, and we want to do it till we reach 10. How many of you can draw a straight line? No? Guess I'm not the only one. And we're doing this because we just want to kind of like divide the body parts up. So that we can tackle this easily. I should probably move this. Something smells really good right now. So, oh, okay. It's deterring me from drawing straight lines. Okay. And we're just gonna label the lines. So we're gonna start from 0, the first line, and then all the way to 9. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And for the ones that's like done with that, we're gonna draw a center dividing line. And the reason behind this is that so we can kind of mirror image or right to left. This is important because you'll see that if you were gonna like draw a CAD, like transfer this as a CAD to Illustrator later on, you only have to draw like one side, and then you can easily flip over to the other side. So that's a lot less work for you. But right now we're gonna just do hand sketches, which will also try to match your right and left so they're the same. Okay, everybody done with their center line? So from 0 to 1, we're gonna draw like an egg shape, like an upside down egg. So that's basically the head. So you don't have to make it perfect. It takes me a couple times sometimes to draw a good head shape. So basically we're just gonna kind of, draw an oval egg, upside down egg. And I tend to like to bring out my chicken scratches at this point to kind of shape the oval. So we like to maybe have our chin a little bit skinnier. So that's basically your head. I'm telling you not to make it perfect, and then I'm like trying to make it perfect. So, okay. So between line 1 and 2, like right in the middle, that's gonna be where her clavicle is going to be at. So we can like maybe just mark it or draw a little like line across for now. Okay, and then you're gonna kind of like pinpoint how wide her shoulder is. And then you're gonna kind of like draw like a rectangular neck. You can maybe shape the neck a little bit at this point. Basically, you're drawing that neck and meeting that mid line between 1 and 2. And then also something that I forgot to mention is that like our shoulders, our elbows, our wrists, they move. Do I look funny right now? No, okay, gotcha. Okay, like they move. And also kind of like just our joint, our waist, also our knees and ankles, they have movement. So we want to like kind of draw those joints with like a ball, right? Because that signifies movement. Have you guys ever seen like one of those IKEA like figure drawing wooden thing, and like those joints are all like circles? So that's what we're trying to do here. I'm just gonna draw like a little circle on top of line number 3 in the middle, and that's gonna be like her waist, where her waist is at. And I can just like lightly pencil this in, and keep in mind, like, you know, obviously all shapes are good. So, but if you want like a smaller waist, you'll just keep your circle a little bit smaller. So once you have that in, we're just gonna connect where the shoulder is, and we're gonna connect that to the circle. And on top of the circle, we're gonna draw a line. So now you have kind of like a trapezoid shape, and then you have a little circle joint below that. And that's kind of like your body. You know, it's looking funny right now, but I promise it's gonna look fine afterwards. Okay, so everybody done with that part? Yep, okay. So then we're gonna pinpoint where her hip will be. The widest part of her hip will be at number 4. So I'm just gonna draw like a trapezoid shape again. Like above it, so it's gonna end around number 4. And one thing to keep in mind is that our hip sometimes is like the same size as your shoulder. So if you were gonna draw like your hip width, it would be kind of in line with your shoulder. And then you can choose to pencil in the line on number 4, but I would go a little below it and add a little dash there, like about a 1/4 inch below number 4. And that would be where her crotch is. It's funny how I emphasize that's like her crotch. So anyways, and at this point, you can kind of give her a panty line. You know, like you can kind of like just shape, and depending on how risque you want her panties to be. So, and then you kind of like have her hip, and then you are nailing down the crotch. So then everybody okay at that point? This is easy, right? Okay. So down to line number 6, I'm gonna draw like where her knee is going to be. So I'm just gonna draw like 2 little circles there. And the circles are kind of close to the line. And that's where her knee is gonna be. And I'm gonna try to make them like even. So like the right circle and the left circle is kind of like same distance from the center line. And then from her hip, I'm just gonna connect that down. I like to put a little dash above my circle, but some people probably just connect that, and either way is fine. And once I'm done with one side, I'm gonna go and do the other one the same. Okay. You guys feel good so far? Yeah? Okay. And then I'm gonna go down to line number 8, and I'm gonna draw where her ankles will be. And the circle on this will be a little closer than how you draw the knee ones. But I'm gonna draw like 2 tiny circles where her ankles should be. And then again, I'm gonna connect that from the knee to the ankle. And at this point, we're just drawing like simple shapes. Later on, we can definitely go in and refine those shapes. Okay. I think mine looks like a Tesla robot at this point. Okay, so you guys got all of that connected? Yeah? Okay. So from number 8 to 9, right like a little bit before number 9, I would draw in where her feet should be. So how I would like to draw this is just think of it as like two flappers, you know, or like when people go scuba diving, what are those called? Like, you know, kind of like the feet, like flippers. Yeah. So I would just draw in two flippers. And you can kind of angle it however you like. So I tend to angle mine this way, but you don't have to. Everybody got their feet down? Okay. All right. So it looks funny without arms right now. So I'm going to go ahead and draw some arms for her. So from your shoulder to line number 2, because there is movement in your shoulder armpit joint, we're going to do like 2 circles there, kind of like a dress form. If you've seen that dress form where they had these 2 like arm plates, I would just kind of draw in 2 circles there, just kind of remind myself that there is movement there right next to the body, or like kind of like on top of your body. And then going on to line number 3, we're going to do where her elbow is at. So 2 little circles next to her waist. And we're going to connect the armhole plate down to where her elbow is at. Okay. Everyone doing good so far? So, like 2 circles connect, right? Okay. Any questions at this point? Nope. Okay. So down to the wrist, number 4. Draw 2 little circle there, right next to her hip. That's where her wrist will go. So we're going to connect the elbow again to the wrist with kind of like a rectangular shape. And after we're done with that, this is the challenging part. We're going to draw the hands. So I have a tendency to either make my hands too big or too small. I'm sure people can relate to that. So we're going to draw like just a simplified version of it. I like to think of it as it's just 2 parts, like kind of like the palm and then the fingers. So we're going to do like kind of like a weird trapezoid shape for like the palm, and then we're going to angle it like a weird angle triangle for the fingers for now. So you'll kind of get this effect, kind of like a claw effect. And then you can always, I'm not the greatest person in drawing like hands and feet, but if you want to dive deep into mastering those, you are definitely welcome to like look at images online, or do your own like, study in that regards. But we are here because we are focusing on the clothes, so the hands can suck. Okay, so now you have that down. That's the last part of your croquis. How's everyone doing? Yeah? Oh, you're very good with the hand. Like, awesome. Okay, you guys are like a pro here. Okay, how's your croquis looking so far? Good? Yeah? Okay. Pretty easy, right? Okay, let's go in and kind of like refine those parts and maybe like make the neck a little smoother or your shoulders smoother. So let's take a minute to just do those things. And if you want to go in and maybe, give her more shape on the calf because like she doesn't seem like she has muscle right now, we can do that. Just refining just a little bit. And then adding in that clavicle area. So on line number 2 is where the highest point of her bust is, and that is where her apex will be. So right below number 2, maybe a quarter away, draw like a cup shape, you know, to emphasize that part. And I like to mark in the apex sometimes, but you don't have to. Okay. And then once you're done kind of like shaping your figure, maybe we should add some hair, you know? So whatever hairstyle you want to do, this is the time, have at it. Get your creative juice out. Sometimes I like to just cut the head in half and I know where her eyes placement will be. So I'm just gonna give her a short hairstyle. And I'm also, maybe I will add in some lips. So if you want to like take a stab at adding some feature, you can, but I normally don't emphasize too much on the face. And you'll get a chance to kind of refine your croquis later at home or another time, because this is kind of like a first stab at it, right? So you can always take some transparent paper and put it over and kind of draw another one of it. But for today, like you guys did it. You make your croquis and it's easy, right? It's easier than you thought, right? Okay. So right now, like you see there's a lot of inspo images on the table. Grab the one that you like to sketch. Just pick anyone that kind of draws to you. And you don't have to copy the inspo exact because they are inspo images. If you don't like the sleeve, change it. You know, if you don't like the skirt, change it to pants. You know, so these are inspiration images, and normally designers, we would go and find inspo like this, and we would actually attach this to our technical flats just to showcase, you know, like where we got our ideas from. So that's kind of like important. It's good that you're original, but it's also when you're starting out, it's good to have a reference, because a lot of times your boss or like the director will be like, where did you get this info from? And you're like, well, this Anthro or Free People, I love this style, you know? So something to reference by. Okay, so we're gonna pass out some tracing paper. So maybe like, I don't know, here, I'll take this one and then you guys can pass around and grab one. So we're gonna like draw the front and back. And I'm just gonna, are you using this one? No? Okay, so I'm just gonna take this one. And so we're gonna lay on top of our croquis and we're gonna draw the garment on top of it. So like, let me know if there's a part where you're like, I don't know how to draw this, but we wanna try to indicate as much detail as possible. If you see that there's a lot of fullness in the garment, we definitely wanna draw those fullness like gathering lines. And just like if there's stitches, drawing the stitches. Basically, this is a technical sketch that communicates your design. So put in a lot of details. And what you're going to try to do is you're trying to make your right side of your garment the same as your left. So if you want to like do one side and then work out the details there and then finish the other side, that's completely fine as well. So in fact, a lot of times in the industry, I tend to just like draw really like a rough sketch of like one side, and I would kind of plop that into Illustrator and finish the other side in the system. So you'll find like doing it this way, it's really efficient because like, let's say if your boss want 5 different colorways of this one dress, and so to draw like 5 different version same time is just really tedious. But if we do it in like Illustrator, we can easily just copy and paste and put in different color, and they're all the same. So right now we're just drawing the garment on top of your croquis. And I'm drawing the sleeve. I'm drawing smocking to the body based on the inspo, and I'm just talking to myself right now for the camera. And this is pretty rough at this point, right? Because you can always go back and just refine those details. And sometimes we'll like rough sketch it, and then we'll put like a picture next to it and point to that part so the pattern maker can know, oh, okay, that's the type of smocking she wants. Drawing in the skirt. And make sure to put in like those gathering details. If you have pockets, I normally just do like a little dash on the side, just indicating that has pockets. And then you can always take your croquis off and just check your kind of your drawing a little bit. And mine is looking pretty rough, so, but I'm gonna keep on going and I'm gonna draw the back of it. Okay, seems like you guys are all doing great. So the back is normally pretty similar to the front. Sometimes we get inspirations without a back and you kind of have to make it up. And what's neat about using a program like Illustrator is technically you don't have to redraw the back. You can just copy and paste and change like a few things and you're done. So it's definitely harder to do it by hand, I would say. It definitely takes a lot more effort to draw it by hand, but we want to learn the hand version of it so we understand the concept behind a technical flat. So the point of this is not to be a perfectionist. The point is to be able to communicate your ideas across to your team or whoever's making your design, because it's really just like a language. So I know sometimes we get hung up in trying to make everything look perfect, but at the end of the day, we just have to get our idea across smoothly. And I think somebody asked me how to draw shoes on the feet, like last 2 round. And I have to say, I'm not like the greatest shoe drawer. I can kind of draw the front, but don't ask me if you want to draw the back. I'm just drawing some elastic detail. And every stitches count. It's good to kind of indicate your stitches on the hem, how you want to finish off something. If it has an inside binding, you want to draw your stitches around the neckline. Because a lot of times designers don't think about that, but when the person making the garment, they're like, well, how is this finish? You know, so like if you have a binding on the neck, draw that in. Okay, so for the ones that already draw the front and back, at this point, be very proud of yourself. So you already know how to draw a technical flat. Just keep on practicing. What I would do right now to transfer from a flat to an illustration is I would just kind of trace my croquis underneath my garment. So if her head is showing, let's add that in. And her hands and her feet. Like if there's lines that doesn't need to be there, then we'll just omit that for your final sketch. And this is also a good time to kind of go and refine whatever you need to refine too. And I'm gonna go and reshape her neck a little bit. Just make it a little softer. And now I'm adding in her hands. Hands is always tricky. I can just hide it underneath her skirts or something. And then her feet. Just roughly drawing some shoes. And we're gonna do the back side the same, except we're not gonna have a face in the back, so just her hair. Oops, I think I'm a little off here. Okay. case, how's everyone doing so far? So good? Yep. Okay. Anybody have any questions? No? You're good? Feel free to ask me anything, like with the industry, like, yeah.
I do actually. Do you want to include folds and like stuff, or do you want to kind of draw it as it is, like flat? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally get it. So even when you lay the garment on the table, like flat, let's just say you can spread it out and you can see the whole pattern, right? But we don't want to do that because that will look kind of funny, right? Let's say we just lay it out all flat. So then essentially when the skirt falls, it's going to have folds, right? So in a way, that's a very good question. Like we are drawing flats, but then we still want to indicate a little bit of that fabric movement. So if you're drawing a skirt, I would still just add those folds in. It's kind of like similar to what you do in an illustration, right? But it's just illustration, you might have like like a 3/4 view or like things that are a lot more movement. This is just kind of a little bit still.
Okay.
So you would still include, those folds. So sometimes I would like do a little dash just to indicate the fabric is kind of like soft or something. Or if it's something that's really flowy, when it collapses, I'll still just do a little movement like line, but definitely like try to be more minimal on that end. Like, yeah. And you guys are obviously welcome to draw another version of it or keep practicing, because I think this is also a really good way to practice and observe how things fall and, like all the details. So, awesome, great job. You guys did such a good job, even though the cameras are like everywhere.
Thank you for watching Story of Casmock. I am so grateful you are here. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more fashion illustrations and creative inspiration. Have a beautiful day.